offense. I think I've got about 20 minutes. I'm going to turn it over to Cody here. So scouting for offense, here's what we're looking to do specifically for offense. We're looking at coverage checks and passing game tweaks we can make. What that means is, are we playing a team that we think is playing a heavy man-to-man? Well, we have 3 or 4 passes that we use that we really like against man that we'll motion into or we'll shift into or we'll do different things. So we're playing a heavy man-to-man team. We're probably going to be working a lot of shifts and a lot of motions. It's just something we know coming into it. If we're playing a heavy zone off team, we're probably going to be running a lot of our RPO stuff. And so it's stuff we already have built in. We're going to be working that mainly inside of practice. When is the best time to take a shot? And when do we not need to take a shot? When is the time where this is a chance for us to take a shot, and I'm going to build that into our practice. Our quarterbacks know we call it second and shots where we are. So they know a lot of times on 2nd and 1, 2, 3, here's our shot play we're putting in because of what the defense is doing. Okay. When do they go what I call goal line, or essentially when do they change on defense? Is it at the 20? Is it at any 4th and short? Is it at the 10? Where are they going? All right, we're going to blitz everybody pretty much and go man, which is what most defenses do when they go goal line. Okay, or maybe they're bringing in different personnel. So when are they doing that? So in our game plan, we're putting that over on our little call sheet of here's what we're going to do differently. Who are we going to attack and who to avoid? I've already kind of mentioned that. Who are they keying on our offense? Mentioned that early on, but we're very specific on can we do influence blocks or false keys? Are they coached up well enough where we can take what they do and use it to our advantage? I'll give you a specific thing that we do often. If they've got a spill player, we run a lot of buck and we run a lot of, block down and kick out concepts. So is that 5 technique or 9 technique or whatever? Is he going to squeeze every time he gets a down block? Well, there's been times we've run roll out pass and down block with our tackle on the side we're rolling out to and loop the guard, because that's something we could use. That kid's technique, we couldn't block, but his technique was going to take him out of the play. So can we do false pulls that are really going to mess with these kids? Can we do tendency breakers? We're going to go back. We self-scout ourselves 3 times a year. And so we're going to do it usually right before conference, in the middle of conference, and then right before the playoffs. And so we're going to look at what we're doing heavy, and then when can we break one of those tendencies? And this is basically the coaching checklist I give our guys to go through. So now carrying it forward into practice and what we give our kids, because it's different. What I know, what my coaches know, and what my kids know is going to be different, okay? So I tell our coaches all the time, I don't care what you know, it's what does your player know? So we need to figure out, I need to know everything. My assistants need to know quite a bit. My position coach need to know a little bit. And then what are we giving players? So first of all, we try to figure out which kids can handle the most, and they get a little bit more in-depth game plan than everybody else gets, okay? We've got some sophomores out there, I'm just praying don't mess up. We got some seniors out there that are going to be great men, but I wouldn't want them operating on me. That's just not going to be what they do. And so who can handle more? And we're going to pick guys. Generally, in our team, we've got about 4 to 5 one-way guys. We got a lot of guys that go both ways. We got 4 to 5 guys that go one way, and they're those typical overachievers who are intelligent. They're probably not the best player. If they are, you're going to be really good. But they're probably not your best player, but they're your player that gets the most from their ability and can handle the most. Those guys are going to get more game plan stuff because I got to trust them on Friday night to get everybody else lined up. So here's kind of and it's obviously it's a guideline, but we go 60%. The team's 60-40. I need to know that, and my DC needs to know that, because as we're working stuff in practice, we want to make sure we hit that. If they're 70-30, so 70% of the time they do X, we're probably going to start building that into our game plan. We may not tell all the kids, but we're going to start building in adjustments and automatics to that. If they're 80-20, we're probably telling those 2 or 3 kids that are really important, here's what you need to know, because if they get in this, here's what we think is going to happen. If we get to that 90-10 range, we're probably telling every kid. If we get to that 90-10, we're probably telling every single kid on our team, here's what we think is going to happen. Okay? All right, so scouting opponents for offense. Offensive line is what we're looking for. Are they pressure, upfield, technique? Are they movement? So defenses are usually going to try to create things one of two ways. They're going to try to fool you by being blitzers and upfield players and movers, okay? Or they're going to be really good at technique. If they're good at both, you're probably screwed. I'm just kidding. Most teams, though, are probably going to be good at one or the other because you can only spend your time on one or the other. So as an offensive line, that's not going to change. You know, no matter what offense you run, if they're movers, blitzers, stunners, we're going to work that technique inside of our practice, okay? Quarterbacks, we're looking at coverages. Are they man? Are they zone? And it can change against us. So mainly we're looking players over coverage. Who's their worst cover guy? Who's their good cover guy? Which guy's super aggressive? Which guy's not aggressive? Okay. And then we're also looking in the RPO world. Do we think it's going to be a give? Are they squeezers and you're probably going to pull it? Or is that D lineman going to be playing you on the backside? So that's who we're reading. Of course, we'll build that in the game plan also, but that's what we're looking for our quarterback. Wide receivers is coverages and techniques as far and ability level. Okay, are these going to be press, bail? What are they doing? Tight ends and wings are basically in the same group as our O-line and receivers for us. Okay. All right, general tips for practice. Okay, so when we're working offensive film, so on Monday, we're starting to put in game plan type stuff. A lot of times we are blessed to have probably 15 to 20, maybe 25 guys who we know they might play on a special team, but they're not in the first or really second group, offense or defense. So these guys become basically our scout team. So they're going out there installing the defense, and then they're going to turn around and install part of the offense on Monday. Okay, we want to do everything. So if you can't do that, I would recommend this part. Whatever you put in your scout team needs to be your terminology. So for us, you know, we're a 3-4 team on defense, and we call rip to stunt right. All right, well, that's what I want the scout team players to do if they're in a 3-4. So they're learning our stuff. One, that makes it go a lot quicker and a lot better. Same thing on offense. Okay, so if you're a guy who's coaching scout team offense, you need to have terminology where they can run your system so it goes quicker. You can get more stuff in. Then we put special players in special jerseys. Some of y'all may already be doing that, but we want to make sure our kids, we harp all year long, players over plays. Stop their best player. Stop their best player. So that kid's going to be wearing something different, okay? Or we do the same thing on offense. Really good linebacker. We want to make sure we get him blocked. Different color jersey, okay? Your 1s, 2s, and 3s are going to get heavy individual. Our 1s and 2s are going to get heavy in group, and our 1s and what I call 1As, so next best ones, are going to get a lot of reps in team. So that's just stuff we do. I'm going to go through kind of how we organize practice here in a minute. We try to do any new stuff on bags or on air because I do believe offense is all about confidence. Okay, we need to be confident going into a game. So I don't want them rolling out there and it looking like complete garbage on Monday. We want them confident. We do want to give them worst case scenarios in practice to get better, but right off the bat, it's probably not the time to do that. Okay? And then every play inside of our team, if we run team offense, defense, whatever, is always a situation, always. Okay, so we're working in technique and other things. If you need to get if you need to have your scout defensive coach move your players. So I'm trying to move this on C here. Okay. Basically, we're trying to make sure we've got a guy assigned to our scout team that's going to make sure it's going to be the best look we can possibly get. Okay. We always try to explain why. So when we work our practices in individual, we explain, hey, our technique this week for our offensive lineman is going to be a little bit flatter or a little bit deeper. Okay. And we want you to ask questions then. We're not in a rush. Ask questions during individual. Some teams are high reps. And I think that is important. I would rather have quality reps with a good understanding. We try to do meetings in the meeting room and practice on the field. But I don't have a problem during individual if a coach shuts it down to explain what's going on and why it's going on. Now, that better not happen every day or every period. But we want to make sure our kids understand an individual. When we start moving forward, we're going to have to go quicker. Okay. Teams should always be working situation you'll see from a defense. Okay. What we predict we're going to see. And then I'll give that DC 5 or 10 kind of, hey, here's how they line up. If you want to have fun with 1 or 2, give them to me and don't let me know what's coming, because we don't know what we're going to see. So I want to make sure our kids are prepared. Okay. Practice structure. Practice structure for us, we're going to go individual time, which is what everyone does. Okay. And this is all going to be the technique they're going to use in the game, or what we expect them to use in the game. Okay. For us, we're going to start changing this up around Wednesday. So that means we expect this type of technique, okay, from everybody on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. This is kind of the game plan. Wednesday kind of turns into our let's be ready for everything day, because I'm hoping by Monday and Tuesday the game plan is kind of taking form with these kids. So Wednesday, even in the individual, now our receiver who may be playing a team that's been zone, we're going to work press man on Wednesday, because that's the hardest thing we might see if we've not prepared for it. So we're going to hit that on Wednesday during individual. Our O-line may be working on upfield players, penetrators. Well, on Wednesday, we're going to remind them how to handle it if they get something different. Okay, we've been working a 3 front. Now we're going to look at a 4 front. That's done during individual. Okay, our group time, we actually go individual and then pod, and I don't want to get into that because we don't have time for it, but we go individual, pod, and then group. We get to group on Monday, Tuesday, we're working predicted fronts, predicted coverages. On Wednesday, we're starting to work other looks. Okay, so that's what I mentioned. Maybe we're looking at a little press man, or maybe on the front, we're looking at different blitzes they may run. That needs to be on Wednesday. And then on team, anytime we're working team, it's always a situation. So for us, I think I've got it on here, we structure our practice to make sure we hit every situation throughout the week. Okay, and then I'll give the defense, we call inserts, 5 to 10 inserts they can throw during team to kind of throw us a curveball. Here's how we do our practice structure offensively. Okay, now I actually pretty much take this and flip it for our defense because I'm the head coach and I can do that. But here's how we work our offense. Okay, so Monday is going to be our base plays, any adjustments, any specific to game plan adjustments we're going to run, any 3rd and 4th and shorts, or any installs. All that stuff is going on Monday. And that's going to work through the practice schedule, how we're going to roll it. Tuesday, we're working hashes. We're working red zone, 3rd and longs, and 2-minute drill. This is all inside of team. Wednesday, we're working short yardage, gimmick shots. We've got special formations, 4-minute drill. Okay, now during individual, pod, and group time on Wednesday, I've already mentioned, we're working other scenarios. So the receivers are going to be working, we've got something different. But during team, we try to give them the predicted front. Then Thursday's similar to what everybody else is probably already doing. It's going to be basically hitting everything we might see. Okay, and then we do series work. And I don't want to make this all about wing T, but our series work for us during the season, we're going to work that during our individual and our pod time. So we're going to work buck usually on Monday. We're going to work the bellies on Tuesday. We're going to work jet on Wednesday, and then we're going to sprinkle counter in there. That's our series run game-wise. And then we're going to work the RPOs that we predict we're going to use on those days. Okay. Using individual time and adjustments. I think I got one more in here. Now, we will work buck pretty much every day as far as team, because we're going to run that in our script. But as far as individual stuff during the season, we're going to only hit kind of inside of the pods there. Now, we always work pull, kick, pull, wrap. That's an everyday individual drill. So offensive line for us is working technique over alignment. So we talked about that before. Okay, they may move their alignment on us. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, we think we're going to get a 3, a 9, and a whatever. Wednesday, we're going to be looking at a 1, a 5, and a 9, or a 2, or whatever we might see, so that when we get into a game, we're prepared. However, we will put the jersey on the kids that represents the player and the technique he's using. And we'll teach our scout team to use that technique. So if there's an upfield shooter, we're going to try to cherry pick the best kid we have that can do that, put the jersey on that kid, and get a good look. Okay, wide receivers I've already kind of mentioned. Here's what we're going to do during individual time. And then generally Wednesday, we're going to be working press man-to-man, because that's the one thing that it really tweaks your technique quite a bit at receiver in our offense, okay? I think I've got the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks, here's what I've felt for the quarterbacks. Monday needs to be an easy day. Wednesday and Thursday, he needs to be super confident during team, okay? Tuesday, we're going to let him make a lot of mistakes. We're going to throw everything at him. We're going to put the whole game plan in and see what he can handle. And I tell the quarterbacks that before we go out there. They know it's kind of tough Tuesdays. We're going to go out Tuesday, and it may look really ugly, okay? But that's okay, because what doesn't look good, we'll just take out of the game plan. Because I want the quarterback, he's got to feel like the king. He's got to feel confident. If he doesn't feel confident, you're probably screwed. So you need to make him feel confident on Wednesday and Thursday, so he knows on Tuesday we are going to give him a lot. And then during group and individual time on Wednesday, he's going to see man, which can be tough. We work adjustments during individual pod time because he's got to be ready before everybody else is ready. You don't want to throw that quarterback out there and have him just do terrible, okay? Individual and pod time is important as team because we want to make sure we're repping everything he might possibly see during that. All right, Cody, I got 5 minutes here. Perfect. Okay. So film time for us. Film time is how we work film. We actually are very different than most teams. We will take our guys that play one way into the field house during practice of individual of the other side of the ball. So our quarterback gets film before practice. It gets a lift before practice. And then when we're doing individual defense, he goes with the quarterback coach and watches 15 minutes of either our practice film we just did, our practice film from yesterday, or defensive stuff. So we're very blessed in that. I have learned, in my opinion, that if you can feed your kids good, make sure they're getting all the nutrients they need, and you can make sure they understand the film, you're going to win a lot of games you probably shouldn't win, because these guys the film is becoming huge for our kids. That's how they learn. You know, I learn by reading and by seeing drawings. They learn by watching YouTube. And so film is huge for them. But here's what we do for the rest of our team. On Monday, the game plan goes out. We want to make it unique for each group, okay? We watch our own film as a team. We watch about 6 plays as a team. That's it. Because I've learned that if you watch film in groups as much as possible, they're going to get a lot more. Because your 3 technique doesn't really care, you know, what's going on offense or in the defensive backfield. So breaking your group apart as much as possible is important. So essentially, we get 20 minutes as a team. We'll watch some good, some bad. I'll give them the theme of the week. We'll give out awards, and then we'll break for 20 minutes to watch film as a unit or as a smaller group. Tuesday, usually watching a lot of opponents' film. Wednesday and Thursday, we're generally watching our own practice film, okay, which has helped us quite a bit. And we will film. We don't have the luxury of filming as much individual as I would like, simply because manpower and time. I would love to do that. And there are times that we know we're having a problem with our DBs or our receivers or whoever, and we will film individual then and go back and watch it. I just don't like filming everything if we're not going to watch it.